value. Screw it, I'll talk about him now. 274, 24 homers, 111 runs, 73 RBIs, and 40 stolen bases. Again, at 51.3, fifth round pick. VR now will be in Miami this year. Good change of scenery for him, though, because really he's going to get a lot of opportunity. A lot with these guys is opportunity. And he should be hitting at the top of that lineup. And the Marlins should drive him in quite a bit. If he can keep up his decent average, he's in a really good position to eclipse the 100-run mark and possibly the 40 stolen base mark again this year. I really like VR and his new digs. So, again, I'm going to scan over these next three guys. You have Acuna, you have Turner, and you have Yelich. I'm lumping these three guys together. Well, because they're the next three guys on the list. Acuna had 37, Turner had 35, and Yelich had 30. Because this is centered around value, but all of those guys are first-round picks. All of those guys are first-round picks. If you're lucky enough to get one of those guys, just like I was saying, Dave, if you're lucky enough to get one of those guys, you sure as hell better back it up with one of these guys later on. Because then that's going to give you an advantage. So, if Christian Yelich falls into your lap, or, Trey Turner falls into your lap, you really need to go out and actively get stolen bases. Because your team's set up for that, right? So sometimes this stuff is dictated to you, is my point. I like to go with the flow of the draft. If I get one of these three players, I'm building my team around speed and runs, knowing that I can get homers and RBIs later on in the draft. Okay? So let's talk about ADPs real quick before we go. Acuna 1 overall, 50-50 is a real possibility for him. Deserves to be the first overall pick. Yelich, ADP's 3. No weaknesses in his game. The biggest concern about him is injury, recovering from his injury. But all signs are that he should be a full go early on in spring training. And then I think Trey Turner at an 11.3 is a little low. 30-50 is a possibility for him. He's really going to be looked to be a leader in that Nationals lineup. He might hit first, he might hit third, he might hit second, but a full season out of Trey Turner could go a long way for him moving up in that first round because he certainly has the true 5-tool talent. So, the next guy, I'll tell you, it's funny when you... Elvis Andrus. When you do these lists, a lot of times things pop up that you don't expect. And I didn't realize Elvis Andrus is a career 275 hitter. That's pretty darn good. I mean, I know you're probably saying, so what? When I do I do green, yellow, red. If a guy's above 280, he gets a green. If he's from 250 to 280, he gets a yellow. And if he's below 250, he's a red. So he's a high yellow in that lumping, right? I really do think, yes, he's 31 years old. It's kind of a red flag. But he's played less than 100 games only one time throughout the course of his 11-year career. I think at 140, again, if you're in a situation where you get Christian Yelich and you're sitting there in the 13th round, why not take a shot on Elvis Andrus to really put yourself over the top, right? I think he's a value at 140. Jared Dyson is the next guy I want to talk about. He's the last guy in this grouping, so we've talked about it, okay? I want to take a second here. We've got Malik Smith had 46, Mondesi at 43, VR at 40, Acuna at 37, Turner at 35, Andrews at 31, and Yelich at 30. The last guy on this list, and probably one of the biggest values on this list, Jared Dyson. He is free, guys. Jared Dyson is free. Now, I know what you're going to say. He's washed up. He does get to hit every day, Andrea. Who's going to play center field in Pittsburgh? Who's going to play center field in Pittsburgh? Dyson will play every day in Pittsburgh. His ADP is 521. Even if he doesn't, Andrea, he stole 30 bases last year and also ran in Arizona. Yes, he's 35 years old. But he's going to hit leadoff every day, Andrea. Yes, the Pirates are going to stink. But an everyday leadoff hitter on the shittiest team in the majors is still going to get you close to 80 runs. 80 runs and 30 stolen bases ain't too shabby. Now, let me throw you in this. 2 years in Arizona, Dyson hit 216. When he was in Kansas City for, I think, 6 years, he hit 260. 260. If Dyson, I know there's a lot of ifs in this argument. I understand that. But I don't think the big ifs. That's the thing. If I don't need him to get to 260. I need him north of 230. Can you get me to 250? If he hits 250, he scores 80 runs, and he steals 30 bases, and you take him with the last pick of your draft, is it worth it? Every day of the week. You're talking about winning steals with the last pick of your draft, guys. That's significant. I was listening to another show today. That's the great thing about a guy like Jared Dyson. If you pick him and you're wrong, who frick cares? All you do is drop him and pick someone else up. It's the last pick in your draft. You take 30 stolen bases out of the last pick of your draft, you bet your damn ass you do. I do. I like Dyson, and I think he does well in Pittsburgh. Let's talk about 20 to 30. You know what I'm going to say? How many players had more than 20 stolen bases last year? I'm going to start talking about, I want some guesses. Plus 20, from 20 up. How many Major League Baseball players had 20 stolen bases last year? Because that seems fairly attainable, right? Let's talk about 28 stolen bases last year. And really, this is one of the guys that when I start doing this, I really kind of started to develop a man crush for. How about Victor Robles? 28 stolen bases last year. His ADP is 75. And last year, as a 21-year-old, he played in 155 games, center field. He hit 255, 17 homers. Again, a 21-year-old that's supposed to be a speed guy, hit 17 homers, 86 runs, 65 RBIs, and 28 stolen bases. I really think at ADP 75, Robles is a steal. This guy could be a first rounder next year very easily. You look at, he might hit first, he might hit third. Either way, he's going to produce. 255 goes up, 17 homers goes up, and sure as shitzel, 28 stolen bases goes up. Absolutely guaranteed. Barring injury, 28 stolen bases, he does in his sleep. I love Victor Robles in the 7th round of a 12-team draft. I think that is an extreme value. You're talking about a guy who might be a first rounder next year. How many players had 20 stolen bases last year? Hey, Kevin, welcome. Thanks for joining in, buddy. Appreciate you. Let me take a second. Andrea, what's up? Thanks for coming by. You got a guess? How many stolen bases? 20 of them. David Craig, my buddy. Lenny, Kevin, guess Lorraine, welcome. You're listening to Chaps Fantasy Chat. I come to you on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. This is the Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports Network. I appreciate you coming by. If you got questions, shoot them. You got great people in the chat room with you. So, damn close, Andy. Damn close. So let's move on. Any more guesses before I do one more player? Then I'll tell you. Starling Marte, 25 stolen bases. His ADP 33.5. Everybody that knows me knows I have a man crush on Starling Marte. I always have. Boy, what a new lease on life this guy has, right? You look at what he did last year, and that beleaguered Pirates offense, especially in the second half of the year. He hit .295 with 23 homers, 97 runs, and 82 ribbies. And he threw in 25 stolen bases to boot. Again, this is the Pirates we're talking about. Those are really impressive numbers. Yes, he's 31 years old. But I think this guy's going to be rejuvenated in the desert. I think he's going to love his new team. I think he's going to love being out of purgatory in Pittsburgh. And I think he's going to benefit from it. It's interesting what playing for an organization who has an interest in winning can do for your psyche, you know? So, again, Marte's a career 287 hitter. He has 239 career stolen bases in 8 years. His season high is 47, and he's surpassed 25 stolen bases 6 times in his 8-year career. So, 25 is a pretty safe number for Marte. And in all honesty, he's been pretty consistent with the average and the homers too. This is a really good value pick, even at 33. This is a guy that could solidify the rest of your team. I like Marte a lot, especially in the desert. So the answer is 21 players. 21 players had 20 plus stolen bases. It's not a whole lot. So when you're talking about 1/5 or 1/7 of your offensive statistics, it's significant that you get this right? That's how I feel it. I haven't always felt that way, but that's, you can't afford to let this pass you by. Or if you do, you better damn well be sure you better not punt